Well, welcome back, everybody, to another Take the Initiative stream. I'm Prairie Pirates, and today we're going to be having a game between Mars and Weyoung98. And let's take a look at their list. We've got a mirror match for this one. So it's going to be Jango Fett Red for both of these lists here. And there's a lot of remarkable similarities between them. Obviously, there's only so many good cards that can fit in a list, so they're gonna look almost identical. Um, let's see. For Mars here, we're gonna take a look at his first. He's got the Greedos, he's got the ISBs, and we're gonna see those in both lists. He's got two swoop downs, whereas Wee Young is only gonna have one of those, and then both of them carry two copies of Daring Raid. And then the first, sorry, I should say, Cartel Spacer and the No Good to Me Deads are the exact same too. The first big switch around, I guess, is the inclusion of the Raider. So, oh wait, no. Both of them have the Raider. It's the Interceptor. The Imperial Interceptor, 4 cost, 3/2, that deals damage to a space unit when it enters the battlefield. That's going to be a change. And then also Mars has the Confederate Tri-Fighters to not allow healing as a 3/3 cost, and he's got the inclusion of one of those in the main deck, whereas Weyoung does not have that. Both of them are going to be running, so this list is very much focused on your units dealing damage to your opponents and then tapping those units so they can't attack and defeat your board or whatever, right? And then pushing through large amounts of damage with cards like Sneak Attack and Surprise Strike, and then also the new one that is not included in Mars' list, but it is included in Weyoung's list, which is Breaking In. And so all those cards, of course, deal a lot of damage. And then Daring Raid, or sorry, not Daring Raid, Triple Dark Raid. Triple Dark Raid allows you to play a vehicle for 5 costs less. It's a 3-cost card. It enters play ready, and then it goes back to your hand. So, of course, we see stuff like the Raiders coming in, dealing damage to units, tapping them out with Jango, also dealing damage to the base, and then going back into your hand. So you can have like a 6 or 8 point swing there in terms of damage. And then you have cards in hand as well. So, Triple Dark Raid, definitely very good in this list. And then he's got Change of Heart. Mars has Change of Heart and 1 copy of Cad Bane, which I think could be an interesting pull in this matchup. Only having one of them isn't going to, dramatically change anything, but, the ability to hit that late game could definitely swing things in his favor. So just a lot of space units, as you'll notice, not a ton of ground units. So definitely a big switch up from other meta lists we've seen in the past, especially for the Fets, right? Boba Fett was always known for having a really good ground arena and then a couple of space units, where you take like the 7th Fleet Defenders, maybe some Cartel Spacers, and then of course the Fets Fire Sprays. But in this list, it's going to be just a lot of cards that are going to go in the space arena, and the ground arena is going to be relatively weak from what we've come to expect from Star Wars Unlimited. That's basically Mars' list in a rundown. Both of these guys also running Tarkintown, as you'll notice, and we're going to go ahead and head over to Weyoung's list. And like I said, it's remarkably similar. It's damn near the same list, honestly. But he's got the Breaking Ins and the Surprise Strikes, as well as a Flamethrower upgrade, which I think could be really interesting. I don't know, it could be pretty good on Jango, I guess. Or, even like early play like a Greedo or an ISB agent to get some early ground control, essentially. And then he also has a single copy of the Persuader, and then the Force Choke as well. So I don't think this is going to be a game where it comes down to the sideboard or anything like that. It's going to be just a really, really easy game to go. Let's see. Getting ready to get this thing going here. Getting it all set up. It's an early morning stream for me. Out here at 8 o'clock in the morning, right before I gotta run into work. But it should be a really good matchup. Obviously, with it's kind of a toss-up, you know, right? Who gets the best cards? But it's also going to be a really good, way to see, who knows the list better, almost, and not in a mean or derogatory way, I guess, at all. Um, it this is definitely one of the ultimate skill tests. Is being able to go into the mirror and get an advantage. And honestly, from what I'm seeing in the list, I would have to give it slight edge to Mars just because he's got those Imperial Interceptors in there, and the Cad Bane. So those are three cards that I think could be pretty pivotal, especially, later in the game and stuff. But the Imperial Interceptor is basically able to kill every single space unit besides as Fire Spray. I don't think I talked about it in Weyoung's list, but he's also got those Genosis Patrol Fighters, right? And that's a 3/2 with Exploit and, when played, Waylay on a stick, basically. So um, it's a really good card as well. It is a 5 cost unit, so it is a bit pricey. Um, but when you're able to, waylay back a unit for your opponent, it all evens out. But yeah, just like I was saying, in Mars's list, he's got those 2 Imperial Interceptors, able to kill off units in the space arena. So I think that's going to be a really big advantage for him. All right, we're getting things started now. Everybody's in the table, so I'm going to go ahead and pop over there. Let's see. Good luck, have fun, boys. This is going to be a great matchup here. Super excited because I haven't played a lot with Jango either, so this game will be one of my first experiences of him, which I think is awesome. I've always liked the Fets. Boba obviously was my favorite out of the two, but I'm not going to play new Boba. It was the old Boba that I liked. Okay, let's fix this real quick. Here we go. Now, if you're watching this live, there is a little bit of a stream delay just to ensure the quality of these matches, that nobody's taking a peek at the other person's hand. If you're curious, and if you're watching on the VOD, thanks for checking it out. I really am glad you're here with me. Right, so Mars will be the first one to act here. Both players deciding what to resource. And yeah, I don't think there's really an obvious one that pops out to me as the resource to go for here for Weyoung. You obviously want to keep those triple darks, I'm pretty sure, just to make sure you're hitting your Pets Fire Sprays and all that fun jazz. And we'll see a Kylo Ren's TIE Silencer come down for Mars, Crafty Smuggler for Weyoung, and Mars will retain the initiative. Nothing groundbreaking yet. Seven Fleet Defender will come down here. I have to imagine we'll see a Elite P-38, and when played, remove that shield from the 7 Fleet Defender. I guess it's better than removing the Crafty Smuggler shield. And Weyoung will take the initiative here. So not swinging for 2 that round. Definitely could have an impact, I guess. He's going to hit in with the 7 Fleet Defender, making sure he's getting that damage on the board. And I don't think that was necessarily the correct call. Honestly, now Mars has free range to hit for 6 damage to the base. Unopposed. Potentially more with a surprise strike, or yeah, I mean, he could surprise strike here for sure. Looks like he's going to for 6 damage to the base. We're going to see an ISB agent come down here, revealing the surprise strike and exhausting the P-38 and Jango Fett. And Crafty Smuggler will come down for Mars. And the Crafty Smuggler for Weyoung will hit his base. Mars is going to take the initiative here. He's got the damage lead, and he's got the exact same number of units on the board. I think this puts him in a pretty commanding position. Although, here comes the Triple Dark Raid, and this is where things could really start shaking up. Right, P-38 will come down, killing the opponent's P-38. And that will allow Mars to trigger his Jango Fett, exhausting the P-38. So that kind of neutralizes the whole Triple Dark Raid effect. Except for, he did lose a unit, so it was still good for him. And Weyoung here will have to just pass, I think. And that Elite P-38 will be going back to hand. I want to ensure that I was understanding that correctly. P-38 is my favorite World War II aircraft. I've got a model of it and a couple t-shirts. All right, so Mars now trading his silencer for the 7th Fleet Defender. obviously creating some room for the one he has in hand. I think that's a very good choice. Considering he doesn't have a lot of playable cards right now. And Jango, of course, will deploy on 5 resources, which I think Mars is going to go ahead and maybe drop his now. I can't see any reason why he wouldn't, honestly. Keeps the resources up to, you know, confuse the opponent on potentially what he could be dropping. And it might eat some damage, which is actually going to be, I think, his most useful effect. Jango's in this matchup, it's going to eat some damage from the opposing units. But he could be waiting for that Crafty to hit the base first. We'll have to see. Weyoung. Oh. I think some minor technical difficulties here. I'm hosting the game in the United States, and Mars is playing from Japan, and Weyoung is playing from Europe. So we've got players all over the map today. Crafty will hit the base for 2. Mars is going to drop that Kylo Ren silencer. We'll see the second Triple Dark Raid from Weyoung here. Hopefully he's looking for that Fitz Fire Spray or the Raider. Yep, the Raider's out. That will be able to kill Kylo Ren's silencer. Although he is debating the Fitz Fire Spray. I think the Raider's just the better choice, honestly. It's going to be coming back to hand, and being able to have that trigger effect again is really, 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 really good. And of course, it will enter play ready, which is tremendous. Okay, and we're going to see No Good to Me Dead used there on the Raider. I think perhaps he could have he could have deployed Jango there, and then waited to No Good to Me Dead the opposing Jango. It would have saved him 6 damage instead of 4. But of course, over the course of 2 turns. And Weyoung here is going to take the initiative. Yeah, the card advantage is definitely not in Mars's favor. He hasn't pulled any Triple Dark Raids, and he's had to use a Surprise Strike already to get some damage on the base, which is why he's leading by 1 currently. But that lead is going to evaporate here pretty quickly. 2 damage to Jango, and exhausting it. That Ruthless Raider is extremely, extremely good. And I think we're going to see the same thing out of Mars. And Mars does have the lead here. Just ever so slightly. Okay, so ISB is going to attack, and then Mars is going to take the initiative, which I think is actually way better for Mars than it is for Weyoung. I don't think that 1 damage was going to be the one, considering he's got a surprise strike that could have ended the game, right? Am I wrong there? 7 damage? Good lord, it's too early in the morning for this. I think that's correct, right? +2, +5 is 7. Yeah, Weyoung threw away the game there. He could have just taken the initiative and then used Surprise Strike with Ruthless Raider to win the game. I mean, he's still going to be able to, but if Mars had any kind of way to stop that, I think actually Triple Dark Raid here is, or no, Imperial Interceptor is the guaranteed way to stop that by exhausting the Ruthless Raider. And that's a forced play. Because he doesn't want to attack with the Ruthless Raider. Yeah, I mean, I think that was a premature call, but because yeah, Weyoung definitely threw that one by not taking the initiative. I think Mars actually had a way to win there. Sure, he would have taken 6 damage from Boba Fett, or from Jango Fett, I should say. But the there was a way out. I'm 95% positive. Yeah, I don't like calling any games early just because I think that's, you know, you should play it out personally. But no, I totally get that. Weyoung should have won that game for sure. Anywho, we're on to round 2 here, and let's go ahead and take a look at those sideboards real fast while they're getting ready. Weyoung here has one of those swoop downs in the sideboard. He's also got those Bazines, which could be pretty pivotal in this matchup. And of course, the Change of Hearts are also pretty solid pieces. I don't think the anti-heal from Wolf is going to be useful at all, nor is the what are those called? The gauntlets. What are those things called? Disabling Fang Fighters. Yeah, the Fang Fighters. I don't think those Fang Fighters are going to be useful at all either. And the TIE Advance is hit or miss, honestly. I think you can leave it out and feel just fine. As for Mars, I think we saw him bring in those waylays, but I think that's going to be the only piece he's going to want to bring in. Maybe take out the Tri-Fighter, since base healing is not going to be super pivotal in this match. But we will see. Nope. I think Weyoung definitely had a much better starting hand as well last match. Having 2 of the Triple Dark Raids in your opening hand is a tremendous value, since of course it creates card advantage when you use it, and it also creates instant damage, which is very hard for Jango in particular to counter, since you're building an aggro list. Yeah, you're not gonna have a lot of tools to deal with the instant damage coming from your opponent, which makes this matchup pretty hard to deal with. Considering both of these guys have a rough time dealing with the mirror, obviously. Mars will start things off with a Crafty Smuggler, and Weyoun has no opening plays, so he's going to take the initiative. Weyoun is not drawing what he wants to see here at all. I mean, he can play the Cartel Spacer. It's just going to be off curve, and it doesn't have immediate board presence because he has no other cunning units, which is a little bit rough. Force Choke, of course, doing nothing against a Crafty Smuggler, so unless he is going to save that for Mars to play something else, he's not going to get any value there. Alright, so we are going to see the Cartel Spacer come down. And 2 to the base for that Crafty Smuggler. Elite P38, 1 damage on the Cartel Spacer, and Tarkintown to finish it off. And, of course, Weyoun retaining the initiative. I think that was a really good use of Tarkintown. Last match, we didn't see either player use it. Since the units have so low HP for both players, the only units you can really use it on are those Ruthless Raiders and the Fetz Fire Sprays, which we only saw a couple of those. But here's going to be the first Triple Dark Raid out of Weyoun, getting the luck of the draw there, and I think you just go with that Fetz Fire Spray. Whoa. Yeah, that's really good. The only downside is that you see the other Triple Dark Raid, and now you know it's going to be in the bottom 6 cards on your deck, which is unfortunate. Definitely unfortunate. Elite P38 comes down, smacks that Fetz Fire Spray, tapping Jango to exhaust that Fetz Fire Spray. That's exactly what you want to see out of Jango here. Yeah, just a ton of damage coming down. I really like this board for Mars. Obviously, he's got a damage lead already. He's slightly behind in card advantage, but the Fetz Fire Spray not being able to attack there was definitely pivotal to giving him some sort of advantage here. And I think that comes back to the great use of Tarkintown. So Ruthless Raider does come in exhausted. Or no, surprise sneak attack. So it will die at the end of the phase, but it does enter play ready, which means it will be able to trade out Mars's entire space arena. And I think we're going to see a Triple Dark Raid here. Go after Jango. That makes sense. 2 damage from Crafty onto Jango Fett. And 3 damage to the base with Jango Fett. Jango Fett exhausting Jango Fett. I know that's hard to follow, but it was Mars's Crafty Smuggler attack that would exhaust the Jango Fett for Weyoun. Right. Not the greatest pull in the world. He's going to end up with a 7th Fleet Defender. It could have been worse, though. Honestly, that's not a terrible pickup. It's 3 more damage, and it won't be able to be killed by the Ruthless Raider. And forgive Mars here. He's playing on the worst ping I've seen in a while. So he he may have a little bit of connection problems. It's all right though. All right, so Ruthless Raider trigger will come out. killing the P-38 as expected. And the 2 damage to the base was already done by Mars. 7 Fleet Defender will return to hand. I think the players got that one. Oh, and they're just going to call it. Okay. Mars winning game 2. So we're on to an exciting game 3 now. All right, so no changes to the sideboard for either player. I think they've got it locked in for the mirror here. This is a tough call for Mars. I don't know if you get rid of the. I think you have to get rid of the Fet's Fire Spray, honestly. It's just so late game, and you need those 2 and 3 drops. All right, so Crafty Smuggler for Mars. Kylo Ren style Silencer for Weyoung. Weyoung retains the initiative, of course. I see Kylo Ren hit for 3 damage to the base. Crafty here, 2 to the base. And a Elite P-38 to remove the shield from Crafty. And an Elite P-38 to deal a damage somewhere. And he's going to go for the Elite P-38. Now, if Weyoung takes the initiative here, he won't be able to do a full Tarkintown counter on this turn, which is exactly what Mars is going to go for. And that 1 damage now will go onto a unit from the Elite P-38's destruction effect. It's going to go on Crafty. And so turn 3 here is when you have 4 resources, and 4 resources is the time to play Dark Raid, because that's when every single vehicle that you pull up to Fet's Fire Spray and Ruthless Raider can be played with for 4 resources. So I expect both players are going to be triple Dark Raiding after they deal their board damage. It was an interesting choice there. Okay, so he didn't go ahead and kill Tarkintown, the Crafty Smuggler. I thought he was going to do that for sure. But he wanted to get the damage guaranteed with Kylo. So it's totally respectable. I see both paths. And there's the Raider. That's what he wants to see. He'll be able to kill the P-38 there, saving himself 3 damage, also dealing 2 damage to the base, and it'll enter play ready. Which, of course, will be then re-exhausted by Jango. This matchup has a lot of the back and forthy kind of things. Yeah, it does cost 4. Ah, okay. So instead of killing the Elite P-38, he's going to go for killing the Crafty Smuggler. That's actually a really intelligent play, I think. And I'm kind of curious why he didn't attack with the Elite P-38 there. Nice. Mars gets a big pickup there. Fet's Fire Spray. This will allow him to clear that Ruthless Raider if he so chooses. And I think Raider's almost forced now to hit Fett's Fire Spray. If it hits base... no, it's gonna hit base, okay. No. Oh, he was just adding the damage from the trigger effect. Okay. If he hits Fett's Fire Spray, then I'm gonna be right back, guys. So it's gonna be headless for a while here. I do apologize, guys. Had to help my roommate out there, pulling out of the driveway. It was all a big mess. We've had a ton of snow recently, so I apologize that I wasn't commentating that last little bit. But I hope you had a great time here watching this match between Mars and Weyoung. Looks like who took this one? I'm gonna hazard a guess that Weyoung did. Well, it was a great series. Yeah, one action that makes a ton of sense. Yeah, this matchup very tough. I think it's not only is it kind of luck based, of course. Do you get your surprise strikes? Do you get your breaking ins? Do you pull your units when you need to? Those elite P38s are workhorses in this deck, and if you don't pull them early enough and often enough, then you're going to be kind of late. And then also, of course, those triple dark raids. If you're not pulling the triple dark raids and your opponent is, and you're running the exact same list, well, they're creating massive card advantage and, of course, the damage advantage potentially, right? And so that potential is worth everything in this matchup. And yeah, the Ruthless Raiders, man, those are a really good card for Jango. You get to do damage to the base, which is aggressive. You get to deal damage to a unit, which triggers Jango ability, and it's a 4/6 unit, so it's pretty beefy as far as this list goes. And for space units in general, 6 HP is tremendous. So fantastically played by these guys. Congrats to Mars taking this one down 2-1. Way to come back and win this thing. And good job to Weyoung, who obviously played tremendously well as well. Losing by one action, it happens. It's happened to all of us. But yeah, that first game, I was worried because I thought you weren't going to win it. But you definitely should have. So congrats again to Mars for advancing in the Take the Initiative here. And thank you guys all for joining me. It's been a tremendous honor streaming this for you. And I hope to catch the next one very soon. See you around.